want to start off by kind of taking you back just a little bit in time, where it all started for me and where I first learned that I have mental health. And that was probably about the age of 16, when, of course, when do we learn we have mental health? Most of us, when there's a problem. Except that the truth is, we all have mental and physical health, but we don't really think about those things until we need to. So I kind of say I actively started to work on my mental health by the time I was about 16 years old. And I've been actively working on it ever since. And because I work actively on my mental and my physical health, I feel like I am my authentic self and the most comfortable I've ever been in my own skin and the happiest I've ever been. And so I came here today hoping to share some of that with you and how we need to be a little bit more focused on our mind and body connections in order to become more fulfilled and live authentically and therefore happy. So fast forward, I had a great mentor. She unlocked that for me at 16, and I hit the ground running. I never looked back. Went through life accomplishing many things, and just setting out to hit anything I ever wanted to do, because nobody at that point could tell me that I wasn't going to. And so I became a clinician, and I started doing mental health work myself and trying to empower others just like I was empowered, because I felt like I had done a lot of work and I was in a good place to now give back. And I worked in a number of different places, inpatient, outpatient, except that I wasn't feeling quite fulfilled in what I was doing. I was happy, I loved the work, but I just didn't feel like I belonged. Something wasn't right in my career. So, was living in New York, moved back down to Florida to be closer to family, was getting ready to have my second child. We settled in St. Augustine, and then 9 months later, have 2 beautiful children, beautiful home, husband, everything's going great. Working in higher education at the time, small private practice, but something still was missing, and I just couldn't put my finger on it. And then one day, I walked into a CrossFit gym. And these are some of the people that I met, going into that gym. These are some OGs that I got to hang out with. And at that time, I was going for a personal journey just to kind of get back to being fit, like many people want to do in life, physically fit. Wasn't exactly comfortable 9 months postpartum. And when I left that day, I was just stunned at some of the things that I found. And there's 3 main things that I walked away with that I was really just kind of looking around like, does anybody else see what I see happening here? And it's because I looked through it from a clinician standpoint and clinician lens that I had a hard time wondering if anyone else could see those things like I could see. But it was the thing that it was missing for me, and it's the thing that changed my professional career to this day. And so, at that point, these are the things that majorly resonated with me. Now, we've heard a lot about it today, people talking about community and empowerment and coming together for the common purpose, and it's all true. But there's something psychological in that that's really magical. And that's really the things that I took from CrossFit. And so one of those things is the mind-body connection, that intentional movement. People were moving very methodically, and they were doing things to their bodies, and they were putting themselves through hard things. And that does something for your mind. And there's a lot of people who walk through those doors, whether it be the CrossFit gym or rucking or some of these other ways in which we do work, but particularly in CrossFit for me, I started to watch people heal. I started to see them make these connections between what they were thinking and feeling and how they were moving. And so it was that intentional movement that was recreating things for them and that empowerment that they didn't even know existed, creating capabilities they never thought they had. And that was pretty profound to me. The second thing, a sense of belonging. We've heard a lot about that today. The sense of community. But the psychology of that, I mean, if you really think about it, is that is a foundation, that's a fundamental of who we are as human beings. It's not something that we can or cannot have. We need that. It's a need. We need to belong. We need to be a part of a tribe, a group. That's how we thrive. It's how we find meaning in life, purpose and passion, attachment. We attach to other humans. We bond with them. And I watched people all around me doing that. And doing that to me. I mean, I was a complete stranger, and I was like, wow, these people are so nice. And the third thing was the safety, the authenticity. I felt so safe to just be myself because everyone was making me feel like I belong. They didn't care who I was. They didn't care my background. They didn't know what I did. It didn't matter. We had a common purpose. We were all working out together. We were going through something hard, and we were having fun. And that made me feel safe. And that made them feel safe. And so then we got to be authentic. And we hide behind these layers all the time. I mean, you see it on social media. You see, people trying to compare themselves to others, and it never leads to a good place. And so to be together in a place where we could actually be ourselves and feel authentic, it breaks down walls, internal walls. And I think that's why we're able to make those mind-body connections, and that's why we are able to accelerate healing, because we do feel safe and we do feel vulnerable. So that started the journey for me. I took that information, I went home, and I said, I could do something with this. I've been a clinician, I'm really passionate about mental health, but there's all these physical capabilities that we could be doing to help people accelerate their healing. What if we put it all together? And what about all the other things that make us to feel human? And over the course of time, I've noticed that we've gotten away from that. As a clinician, you see thousands and thousands of people over the course of my 20 years come through my door and hear all these stories. And the things that help people to feel their best have been the things that make them more human. The simple things, not the materialistic things. And so we developed a framework. We call it the 7 pillars of mental fitness. And these things you probably do to some degree. And if you did an assessment right now, you probably see that maybe you are having some lack in some of those areas. But if you think about just this last benchmark, we'll use COVID as the benchmark, okay, to test. There was a lot of this that we got away from. And I used COVID as a benchmark because that really exposed a lot of opportunity for us. And you're probably thinking, opportunity, okay, lady. Yeah, it was pretty terrible. But it just goes to show you how unprepared and how far away from being human we've gotten, because we weren't able to take care of ourselves in a lot of ways. We did have these strong reactions, and people were getting sick. And we were locked down. And depending on where you were, depended on how quickly you got out of that. And so taking time and steps since then, working with clients via telehealth, you name it, just trying to help them come out of that crisis mode that a lot of people went into, and teaching them just, hey, we just have to go back to being human. And so we would incorporate this into their daily life, and we saw people get better. And so I said, we're on to something. And then we took that into the practice and into the gym. And so 5 years ago, we opened up an affiliate, and I thought, we're going to take psychological principles, and we're going to put that into our gym, and we're going to take fitness principles, and we're going to put that into therapy. And that's what we've done ever since. And so one of the things we've done is team up with GORUCK, and we've created these walk and talks and ruck and talks with people. Because helping people to move intentionally and to walk side by side through their journey with them is empowering. And it's the modern way of doing therapy. And they love it. We're getting fresh air, and we're talking, and we're carrying these ruck packs around, and there's symbolism in that. It is symbolic to carry these loads around and then to take them off and let go of that heavy weight and feel lighter. And we're finding that people actually do better and accelerate their healing quicker. And we take them into the gym, and we do intentional functional fitness with them. And we teach them breathing, and we get them to start thinking more intentionally about their minds and their bodies. And putting those connections together and seeing how they're in this activated state and how to calm themselves down and what that feels like and what safe activation versus traumatic activation looks like. And those are very different. And so, again, kind of moving through that intentionality becomes really empowering for people and helps them to heal. And so we've been doing this for a while because honestly, when you do, we find that it's really been the most missed opportunity to not have some of these psychological principles incorporated into our society. And that if we want to get healed, if we want to do better, if we want to feel good and get out of some of the stuff that we're facing, the numbers are there. I mean, you can look these statistics up, but they're all there. Suicide, anxiety, depression, they're going in the wrong direction. Somebody mentioned that earlier in their talk. And they are. And I think the way around that is to be much more mindful of our mental and our physical health and start to heal from where we've come from and move forward with incorporating more of the mental health and the physical health, being more intentional with both our minds and our bodies. It's the greatest opportunity I've seen, and I'm really excited for where that's trending. So, I'm gonna tell you a quick story about a woman that I started talking with through the pandemic. And we were doing telehealth, and she was struggling because her husband was battling alcohol. She didn't know it. He was drinking at work and hiding it. And she found out, and she was angry. And she was ready to divorce him, and it was just going downhill real fast. So we worked for over a year together, and we got her moving, and we got her in the gym where she was. She ended up joining a CrossFit gym, and we got her using some healthy outlets and following that framework. And she empowered her husband to go get help. And he finally said, I'm done. I'm ready to get help. I don't want to lose you. I don't want to lose our family. I don't want to lose this business. And so we did. He went into rehab. And she sent me this letter that I want to read to you. And she said, "Hi there. How are you? It's been a very long time. I hope you're having a wonderful summer. I wanted to reach out to give you an update. My husband is doing amazing. It was 1 year that he has been sober. He has been devoted to his passion, which is cars. We have been doing so much together. He got rid of the toxic people out of his life, and we have met good friends who don't drink as they had experienced health issues in their past. We have taken 4 vacations this year, and we have had a lot of fun without drinking. He did not want anything, and he continues to amaze me. He's been keeping in touch with the guys that were in the rehab, and they are doing great. The positives and his new life is awesome. We are looking to buy a home in South Carolina, as we will be planning to leave New York by next year, so I hope all goes as planned. He wants to sell the business and start doing the things he loves, which is buy and sell cars. I will work remotely and continue my job. My husband has turned a 360 in his life. He tells me every day, if it wasn't for me for pulling him out of his darkness, he would have continued to do what he was doing. He's healthy and no longer taking any of his meds, as he no longer has anxiety, the shakes, nothing. God is good. We are both on a weight loss program, and he motivates me as we are both eating healthy. I am thankful for all the goodness that has come into lives. I'm thankful my husband no longer wants that life. God is a big instrument in our lives. My parents are big influence as well, and they continue their prayers. I wanted to share." So it just goes to show you how you can do anything, overcome adversity, when you start to put your mental and your physical health first. And that even in the depths of despair, when this woman thought it was absolutely over, they changed their life around and are more connected than ever. Your mind is your greatest tool for success, or the biggest weapon that will destroy you. You get to make those choices, not because of the things that happen to you, which do not define you, but because you have the responsibility to take care of your health as adults and make that change. Be the cycle breaker and do the things that you know is best for you. So I hope that you all continue that journey. And if anyone ever has any questions, I'm around, and I hope to answer anything that I can do to help you on that journey as well. Thank you for your time.